Hello, and welcome to a delayed fleet action report. At least the delay wasn't too far. This is going to be episode 36, Enemies, part 7. I'm Nikodas.
I'm Grebog. I hope. Um, as I'm looking at the stream thing, and it's my thing I watched the stream with, or to monitor things is like going, it's live, it's not, it's live, it's not. And I'm like, I'm worried now.
Well, it's not.
It's not live.
No, it died. You've went offline. Yep. I tried to reboot it and it says an error occurred. Please try again.
And yet I can still. I just refreshed it and it came back on my in my browser. I don't know. Are we live? Anyone watching? Anyone? I don't know what to say about this. It's a night. It's a frustrating night apparently for me.
Well, not just you. It's been frustrating all around.
Um, are you gonna? I don't know. Do you want to verify that it's live, or
Well,
do we
I'm
want to play?
trying.
Go ahead and
Hang on.
play the field, or hit the ball down the course.
It looks like it is up. So let's just do this and see what happens. Um, so again, welcome to Fleet Action Report, episode 36, Enemies Part 7. This is going to detail a few of the enemies that come after the Iconians and one enemy that actually came before. First, though, I'm gonna skip the our weekly updates. We started a half hour late. Obviously, we're still having some limited technical difficulties, so let's skip the backdrop and we'll just jump into the game. So this week in STO, we still have our first of the year-long event going on. This one earns you the Molar Sword. We are almost done with it. We just have a couple days left. So not really enough time to get your requirements in to earn the sword. But if you've started it and you're just not quite there, you've got 2 more days to get those. But even if you can't earn the sword, any days that you do get done goes towards the year-long event, and you can still get points towards that. There's also a lifetime subscription sale currently going on until April 15th. It's $100 off, so what normally is $299.99 is currently $199.99. And starting this Thursday, the galaxy goes to red alert, and yes, I am sure this time. Red alerts are Borg, Alachi, Tholian, Zenkethian, Cool. You do 10 days progress, and you get 1 ultimate upgrade, 1 specialization point, and 1 experimental ship upgrade token. These are the things that turn your ship into the Tier 6X or the Tier 5UX, or Tier 5X, I guess. We'll talk about this a little bit more later in the episode. Provided we don't completely run out of time. I don't mind going over a little bit today, but of course, I know our viewers' time is important, so I don't want to keep you here all night either. So today, we're going to talk about the Grebog. I'm getting tongue-tied again.
Enemies. We're going to be doing enemies. First up is the Undine, or some people I've heard call them the Undone. But yeah.
In the Star Trek shows, they've been referred to as Species 8472. They are fluidic creatures from fluidic space. Their initial conflict was with the Borg, but they have a phrase, the weak shall perish, and they consider most other life forms to be weak. In Voyager, Kess, who first made contact with them, even made a comment that in some ways they were worse than the Borg. Um, in ground combat, these are the only enemy that you'll face in the game that are entirely melee based. So you can ramp up your physical resist and deal with it that way, or do what I do, take them out before they get you. In space combat, they can create little singularities that will tractor you in, hold you in place. They also create a fluidic bubble that, if you fly through it, it will slow your ship down and reduce your turn rate. Now, I have down that we can run an episode in the Solanae Dyson Sphere arc called Surface Tension, where you get to face them in both ground and space. However, this mission is a solo mission only. And it is currently the only mission in the game where you get to face them more or less on even footing. There's a couple missions earlier in the game in the Klingon War arc, but the fights are staged so that you can't really win them solo. The idea is for you just to survive long enough for some allies to come in and finish off the ship for you. So I don't know that really running any of these is going to do us any good. What do you think, Grebog?
When we ran some of the Solanae battle, like the Dyson Sphere battlegrounds, didn't we show them the battleground, which means they've seen some of the the fluidic, at least the space combat.
Yeah, and I mean, we can, if we have enough time here at the end, we can do that again. But mostly the thing to remember here is the tractor beams, and if you fly through a bubble, it will slow you down. Both of those can be counteracted with various skills in the game. Both the attack pattern Omega and Polarize Hall can help get your speed back up or resist the tractor pull. There may be other abilities in game. Anything that will resist, a hold. If your natural hold is resist is high, then obviously it won't affect you as much. Unfortunately, they've just changed a lot in the game, and the missions where you used to be able to off with the Undine are not there anymore. Even in the Borg arc, the only Undine that you really face off against for ground combat is one who's been assimilated, and then they're not really an Undine anymore at that point. They're a Borg. So I don't really have any good way to demonstrate this. But yeah, if you run into them, just avoid the bubbles and whatever you can do to get out of the tractor pull.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything there, Grebog?
That's pretty accurate. They do have a torpedo that they like to launch, but it is a targetable one, and you can destroy it before it hits you. I remember that, and it does a fair amount of damage if you let it hit you, unless you, I guess, have enough gear that it doesn't matter anymore.
Like all torpedoes, it does more damage if your shields are down. So keep that in mind too. If you can bring shields back up before it hits you, you should be good. Should be. All right, so moving right along, our second group is the Tholians, and we've talked about them before too. These are the silicate-based space spiders. In ground combat, you'll tend to see them in an exosuit or a spacesuit because they are silicate-based and not. They don't do very well in our normal atmosphere. They are also.
I was like, if you do run a mission that you are fighting them and they are not in their spacesuits, then you have to be because the environment's hostile to you.
Yep, and there's a couple of those in the game too. In space combat, the famous Tholian Webs come into play. They either build a web wall that is targetable and you can blow it away, but while it's up, it blocks your line of sight, so you can't shoot enemies on the other side of it. Or they'll create basically encase your ship in a web. You have I don't even know how to say that.
Dodecahedron.
Thank you. Thank you. There you go.
It's a
And
D20 basically.
right. And if you stay in there, it will eventually shrink, which will crush your ship, and there's just no way to avoid that damage. You cannot survive it if it closes in on you. However, while the web is formed, there are points that you can target and destroy, which will open a hole in the web and allow you to fly out. So that's how you avoid that. There are some devices in the game, like the point defense systems, that will easily take out several of those points, any of those points that are in range, as a matter of fact. Or you can use AoE attacks to bring them down pretty quick. Or just, when you see the lines coming out of the ship that tells you the dodecahedron is going to be formed, you can always speed away to get out of range, and therefore it will form behind you and not capture you. So there's some ways to avoid that. Now this one I do have a mission for. It's in the future-proof arc called Sunrise.
We have to pick up our specialist first.
Oh yeah, I suppose we do, don't we? Which is at DS9?
Yes. That's what it told me. Something to note in ground combat with Tholians is if you have sonic weapons, they are vulnerable to the sonic damage, so...
Beam up specialist. There we go. I should invite you to party too.
Oh. Doo-doo-doo.
Did you get my invite? Yes. Yes, you did. Okay.
Okay. Go to unexplored system. I'm just going to transwarp there. How about you?
I used the in-game menu.
Well, I used it too, and it just popped me back outside of...
I see that. Yeah, I'll transwarp. Good plan. That's what the transwarp is there for.
Ready? Steady?
Yes, I am.
Now, you can't get sonic weapons in space, so there's no way to, like, get extra damage against them in space.
Okay, so this is actually the very first mission that you run after the Iconian War, so kind of appropriate that, we covered the Iconian enemies and the Heralds in our last enemies episode, and now we're moving on. Collect solar particles.
Solar particles.
Well, minigame.
Gotta love minigames.
This is one of those minigames that if you're on PC, you have to use your arrow keys to match up the lines. If you're on console, I'm not sure exactly what button you would use to do that. I assume it would be one of your the things your thumb sits on. And apparently I'm having technical difficulties of my own. I can't think of terms today.
I threw your brain all out of whack.
Not just you. It's been one of those days all around. Work was fun. Scouts was fun. Games fun. Everything's fun today. Oh, anomalous particles. Oh, almost passed it. We're in a nebula, and I have no shields. And there's some Tholians.
some web weavers. And
And there's one of those walls.
Yeah. Oh, the mesh weavers. The mesh weavers put up the walls typically, and the web weavers, I believe, which is another one of the ships, they will put up the dodecahedron sphere thing.
All right. And then we gotta scan asteroids.
The walls can be destroyed, or you can just fly around them.
All right, and now we meet Kumarke.
Welcome to we have
So I'm just speeding through messages.
Yeah, me too.
Do we both have to do this?
It shouldn't. Should just be one of us. Okay, I've got the first one matched. And the second one matched. Okay. There we go.
We're getting your telemetry now. The probe's made it out of
And then they fire the probe.
engaging secondary boosters to head out of planetary range.
You know, sometimes I try to chase that just for the fun of it.
Well, you do tend to have a faster ship, so... A faster ship than what I fly.
Yeah, but once it jumps to warp, there's no keeping up with that.
Deploying chromodine, no effect. It didn't work. Repeat. Well, it didn't work. That was our one shot. With apologies for the interruption, this is my...
And there's
Alright.
Caldano.
You won't be able to get up.
I've got my healer and my debuffer there, so...
Okay. I'll take one of my guys.
Welcome aboard. I'm Caldano.
You moved me here without crossing the intervening space.
Yeah, yes, we have teleporters.
You have wanted
Thank you for noticing,
teleportation
Kumarke.
technology.
What can I do to help?
Yes,
This is all
we
quite
call it a trans. Well, correct. It has a limited
This
range,
may.
but
I'll
it's useful
regulate
for
the
going
device's
from
main
surface
power
to
state
ship.
from this console.
Okay, you get that one, I'll get this one over here.
It needs to... Okay. There we go. Some of these missions where you have to do 2 consoles like that, if you're with a friend, makes it really quick.
Yes, indeed.
Why does it say adjust blue? Blue is right. No, I didn't lock it in, apparently.
There you go. Okay, here we go.
It's like whoever tried to.
What are those things?
Tholians, so there's the battle suits, or the environmental suits that we were talking about.
Tholians, keep them away. I need to finish these computations.
They don't normally charge you. They like to. They have a beam they seem to like to shoot out.
I have the device shielded in a force
No
field,
real
but I
trick
can't
to these
avoid
guys.
the Tholians are out of the way. Shields are back up. They should
You
be
just
able to get
beat 'em
into all
down.
the parties over.
You can melee or ranged. If you have Sonic, that's probably the best. Apparently, you can shatter their suits.
You don't have to have Sonic though to take them out, obviously, because I don't think either of us are using Sonic.
Mine is phaser. I am using a phaser rifle. Okay, now we gotta talk to Caldano. And we go back to the ship.
The device is charged. We should be
Okay, here we go. Caldano kind of becomes a major player throughout the rest of the STO storylines.
And there's the dodecahedron.
Oh, yep,
As
that's already disappearing.
as my fire at will is taking it out. Here
And
comes
there's
another.
one. Yep, they've got me caught in it, but and there's some down already.
Fortunately,
That's
I've been
howdy.
able to trigger my fire at will both times that they've popped it, so...
I was gonna say that went down fast. And there's another one.
They do love to use it.
As you can see, the points that you can hit to bring that down are not very strong. Pretty easy to take them down.
And you can target them, they're just called a web node.
I don't remember there quite being the... Oh, because there's two of us. Never mind. I was about to say I don't remember there being this many enemies the last time I ran this. But the last time I ran this, I was solo.
They do really love to do their webs, if you haven't figured that out.
Just a lot of enemies. Okay, we got them. They're down.
activating the rejuvenator.
And he's using the Toxu Thought,
Look at the star. Check the spectrum. Some of them
which is also a major plot device.
look at the star. Check the spectral reading. Some of them
Please, you have to stop them. We don't have any more
All right.
space weapons.
Let's go ahead and leave it off here. That was detailing the both space and ground fight. That should be good enough. Let's move on to the Nakul.
There we go. Now I can get out. Ah, the not cool.
Don't you just feel sorry for them sometimes?
They're an interesting one.
All right, so Nakul are in the shows, specifically in Enterprise. However, in STO, you kind of see why they become the antagonist that they become. They are isolationist, though there is a rumor that they've got connections with the Breen. We have not seen that in game. Their leader's name is Vosk, and if you've seen Enterprise, you'll know who that is. In ground combat, they have a phasing they can do where you can't hit them. They will summon clones, and you have to take the clones out before you can actually hit the Nakul officer themselves. They can also share shields, where one person will sit back and provide shields to another. So you kind of have to switch targets a lot with these guys. It can be a little annoying. And they use those same tactics in space. Yeah. So ground and space combat should be the same. We're going to detail this in the episode Future Proof Arc, The Temporal Front.
Okay, you are
All
here.
right. Yep. we're good. Oh, I should have switched character. Oh well.
Looks like you have your healers and whatnot.
Yeah, that's kind of my default. I take my Borg drone, who's a debuffer, and my I forget what they're called. They're the ice version of your race, Shran's race. See, I'm telling you, my brain is broken today.
Not the Andorians, because
Yes,
that's,
that one.
Well, that's trans race. You're trying to say the other one. Why can I not think of it?
Well, they're still Andorians, but they're the ice Andorians. The white skins that live underground in caves and stay hidden from everybody else.
This does kind of show you what the fleet holding the Romulan embassy is.
Yeah, it was kind of the introduction, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Well, here we are. It's still a little hard. Good.
Anar. They're the Anar.
Yes.
I had to look it up. Okay, so we're out here. Gotta talk to people.
I've already started it.
I know. That's okay.
Because we're showing combat, not necessarily,
Story, right?
Yeah.
Greetings.
It is agreed.
Although I really do love talking to Garrick.
The opening ceremonies are about to begin. Ambassador Sugihara will be making an announcement.
Yes. People get poisoned. Come on.
The summit is about to commence. Please
Move.
join me in the main conference room now.
Oh, I missed somebody.
So glad.
Thank you.
Oh, now we have to talk to somebody else out here. Talk to our faction leader.
Like, they even show us going into the chamber, and then nobody goes to the chamber.
Now we head to the conference chamber.
And I can't skip these cutscenes.
Yeah.
I want to skip them.
Is that Romulan ale?
It's a little brightly colored for that, but maybe.
We stand at a crossroads.
Is he supposed to be Saurian, the president?
I believe so.
Chancellor, that Romulan poisoned his wine. This is Romulan treachery.
We did no such thing.
Oh, those
And that's
blasted
all
Romulans.
it takes. That's all it takes to kind of ruin the alliance.
Mr. President, look out!
And there's our first look at a Nekul. I really wish I could skip that cutscene. Alright.
Oh, They have the mines.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
For those that have watched me play, those are the same type of mines I run around with. One of the lock boxes or something. Somewhere along the way, I picked up the kit to be able to have the mines as well. So now I can confuse Nikodas with my minds and their minds, and we can not be sure who put what.
Yeah, we're just gonna shove her down in a chair,
Have
do
a
some
seat.
interrogating. Have a little conversation here.
One that shall be free of your wretched species, as you went to this room. Very
Using
well.
my diplomacy
One
options.
As you search the skies for a star in the yes.
And there's the Time Bureau.
Hello. I see you've just. We detected a time, no doubt.
Go to the future. I'll be happy to.
And we're moving maps. Good for us.
Time to go to the future or something.
Yeah, with Captain Walker.
Now.
And I'm in one of the older looking ships to be. I guess it's fine to be in an old looking ship to be in the future versus a, I don't know, say Class J.
I take it you're seeing quite.
Right? Either Enterprise or Janeway class now.
This system hasn't been inhabited for decades. What are the not cool up to? Unknown vessels. You have violated not cool space.
Scouts.
I remember this mission a lot now. First time I played it, oof.
Yeah, but it's very different now. Today is a very different day. Tractor beams. So you're seeing some of the tactics here in space. I haven't seen the shield sharing yet.
We might kill them too fast for that.
Well, stop. Here, I'll quit using my special abilities. Maybe that will help slow things down. That burst you're seeing is just an AoE, kind of like a shotgun in front of their ships.
This is starting to come together. Acknowledged. Sensors indicate she's.
I'll get a takeout. Hi, Vosk. Okay, so there's that red aura around their ships. Means that they're immune to damage until you take out the distortion. So take that thing out. Oh, I forgot about the burst.
Yeah, they're cone.
Yep, the green lines there is a cone attack they do in front of their ship. That is a heavy damage attack. Ooh, and they got me. That hurt. If you get hit by that, it is heavy damage. Very similar to the Romulan scimitars and their cone. So keep an eye out for that. Oh, no wonder I died. That's a boss ship. Okay, time to use the abilities again. And he's down.
Bad news. I'm reading multiple
Alright, so we'll play a little bit more of this here just to see if we can show you some more of the ground combat. But you saw the mines on the ground that they summoned. You saw the tractor beams and the distortions that they do, and the AoE burst abilities. The only thing you haven't seen is the shield sharing. It's very similar to the distortion. Just keep in mind that if you see a ship that is immune to your attacks, you need to switch targets. The ground combat is very similar. So we are going to take just a minute here to talk about red alerts. As we said, the Galaxy goes to red alert this Thursday. They'll bring all the red alerts back, and then you can earn a daily progress on those. And after 10 days, you'll get the reward. For the different red alerts, the easiest ones to do are either the Tholian red alert or the Borg red alert. Those you just go in, you kill a bunch of ships. Here's the distortion on ground. So you guys can take a look at that. You get to blow up the distortion. And then target Vosk.
They do also like to throw plasma grenades. Hence the... and here you can see right beside me is someone in a shield. And there is a line up to the person up top that is shielding them. So once they took enough damage that the shield dropped.
And Vosk is down. Okay. So the red alerts, there are... most of them are not terrible. The Borg and the Tholian are probably the easiest. The Alachi and the Nakul, appropriately enough, are not terrible, although they're harder than the Borg or the Tholian. The Zenkethi one is the only one that's got a fail criteria. Basically, you have a bunch of Zenkethi ships that are firing protomatter mines at a planet, and you have to take out the ships while blowing up the mines. The protomatter stuff. If one hits the planet, you will fail, and if you fail, you do not get your daily progress. They keep promising that they're going to remove that, but as of yet, they have not. Ooh, that hurt. See, this is what I get for trying to fight and talk at the same time. Alright, guys.
So, also, if you notice, the person that a lot of times is shielding the other person, they kind of go shadowy.
Need to get this situation under control, and fast. I'm beaming over to join your efforts.
Alright. Alright, if you get a chance, you can go ahead and beam up. There we go. We don't need to finish that whole mission. I would show you the red alerts, but they're not in-game yet. Like I said, they come out on Thursday. They will be active for our next show, so we will show you some then. We just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up that it was coming. Anything in particular that you wanted to mention about the red alerts, Grebog?
If you hear people talking about red alerts and how they used to be in, like, you could look in sector space and there would be a red alert icon on the map, and you could fly to it. Well, you used to have to fly to it and to start acting on it. They had a timer on how often they would restart or reappear, but now it's just kind of like a TFO style. You just jump in a queue and you go to one.
They initially they were random when they showed up. You would move from sector to sector and just kind of have to be lucky to find one. Then eventually they kind of made them a permanent fixture, so you could always find them. You always knew where to find them. And eventually they removed them entirely. And now you get these a couple times a year where you can, like Grebog said, you can queue for them. Because everything must be simpler.
Well, the reason they opted to go that route was you could very easily farm a lot of marks for various, like, fleet reps, whatever. It was a way that you could constantly be farming marks in a very simple method. And I think they didn't like people were not exploring the game more, hence them changing it to now it's a special event thing. Happens on a weekend or a week, and yeah. I mean, I used to farm marks that way.
They recently lengthened them. It used to be 5 days. It used to run for a week, and they required 5 days. Now it runs for 2 weeks, and they require 10 days to get the reward. But they've increased the reward, too, so I don't really complain too much.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the start here. We started about a half hour late. Looks like we're going to end about 15 minutes past 10 our time. Not sure where you're all from, but our time. Next week, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about the storyline in STO and what is canon, both to STO and then canon, STOB canon to other Star Trek.
Well, see, a cannon is where you got this big metal tube that's hollow. You shove
Wrong
a bunch
cannon.
of black powder down, and then a big metal ball. Oh, wait.
Wrong canon. And we'll talk about that too. We'll talk about canon and cannons, and we'll talk about cannons. Not to
Sure.
confuse anybody.
All the cannons.
Right? Again, I want to apologize for our technical difficulties. As always, we're going to try to work on that and keep it to a minimum in the future. But, sometimes stuff happens.
Windows gets a mind of its own and takes over.
Well, it is Windows. I mean, it's Microsoft.
Yeah.
Or like I said in our post, the Borg nanites infected us. So, but of course, Windows is the Borg. Or Disney. I haven't decided which yet. Who's assimilating the most stuff?
Depends on who you talk to. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. See you out there.
Live long and prosper.